Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. And with the Liberal Democrat conference this weekend, I thought I'd discuss what leader Ed Davey has been saying about his approach to being a more effective opposition than the Tories. He's put a lot of emphasis on health and social care and being constructive in opposition. Now, the constructive part, first of all, makes a lot of sense and chimes with what I've been saying that they would need to do. The Lib Dems and the Conservatives, they're not simply the two largest opposition parties vying to be seen as the most effective force of opposition against the Labour government. They both have completely different electoral dynamics. The Conservatives want to replace Labour MPs with their own candidates and form a government once more. So electoral strategy for them requires to convince the public Labour bad on everything, and that a Conservative government would be better than a Labour government. It's easy as that. For the Lib Dems, it's very different. They neither want to replace Labour MPs, it's not that they wouldn't want to, but realistically, there's almost no crossover whatsoever between the seats that Labour can realistically win and the ones that the Lib Dems can realistically win. And also, they're not... I know Reform UK are going to claim that they're going to form the government after the next election. The Lib Dems are not really willing to be that crazy. They know that that's not going to happen. They know that their voters know that that's not going to happen. So they have to be more realistic in terms of growing in as an opposition first, with maybe a long-term goal of forming a government. So opposing Labour for the sake of it brings no electoral benefits for Ed Davey, but the Lib Dems target almost all of their seats against the Conservatives. So they actually need voters to see a Labour government as preferable to a Conservative one. So constructive opposition with Labour is a no-brainer of a strategy for the Lib Dems. But it effectively means getting Labour to change its mind and improve policies, which is what Ed Davey's been talking about. But where to focus those efforts? So I'd suggested rural affairs could be a good one for the Lib Dems. A few reasons for this. First, the Lib Dems are going to chair the Rural Affairs Select Committee. That gives them a lot of power to push certain issues. Second, the Lib Dems have a lot of seats and target a lot of seats in rural constituencies. Third, Labour actually did very well in lots of rural areas this year as well. So the government will want to get rural policies right, or should we say, be seen to be getting rural policies right, and it could be quite susceptible to effective pressure on some of those policies from the Lib Dems. But most of the big news coming out of the conference so far has been an emphasis on the NHS. Davey's a keen advocate on social care issues as well, being a carer himself. So it may be that these are the three major policy areas where the Lib Dems decide to focus. Health and social care are certainly going to be priorities for many of their voters and potential voters. And rural policy is also important to many of the areas they can expect to tussle with the Conservatives over, whether to retain them or actually target new seats in the next election. There's also a suggestion that they're going to push Labour on dealing with sewage pollution, for example. Hopefully that'll be unnecessary, but we'll see. But Labour already have got plans underway to deal with that. And because it's also an important issue to a lot of their voters, you wouldn't think they'd need too much of a kick up the arse to keep that momentum going. But then I was thinking about it. Actually, Labour's Steve Reid, who is dealing with policy for water companies, will also be managing a lot of those rural policies as well of interest to the Lib Dems. You know, you could well see that Steve Reid and Wes Streeting will be the two cabinet ministers that the Lib Dems focus a lot of their attention on, really. In fact, you know, I've seen that Daisy Cooper, who's the health and social care spokesperson for the Lib Dems, as well as their deputy leader, has been talking about that at the conference, but is going to be meeting with Streeting with various ideas. Hopefully not quite as being reported, though, because I saw an article in the FT quoting her as saying that she'd want to explain to Streeting that he should look at taxing big banks in order to get more funding into the NHS more quickly. And I'm thinking, I'm assuming she knows that that's not Streeting who can actually decide to do that. That's Rachel Reeves, but never mind. The point is that the Lib Dems have gone into this conference with, yes, a celebration of their wins this year. In fact, it's their best ever result, right? And you get reports going, oh, this is like the most seats a Liberal Party has won in like 100 years. It's like, yeah, but it was a different Liberal Party. This is the most the Lib Dems have ever won. So, of course, there's a celebration going on. But they're very clear that they're straight in with a plan for the next general election. They're already talking about the next general election, what they need to do, and they want to put that plan into action straight away. And I saw Chris Mason of the BBC question whether it was hubris on their part to want to go after the Tories for role of second party in Westminster. And I thought, hubris? For a political party to want to become bigger and more powerful? Like, It would be weird to me. In fact, I would say it would be a dereliction of duty for senior members of any political party to go, oh, we had really good results. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, do we want to do any better? Oh, no, we're happy with this. Thank you very much. Like, that'd be mad. I'd be furious if I was a supporter of that party, if that was their attitude. I mean, it may well be at the next election that the Tories do bounce back a bit, the Lib Dems lose some seats, and then slowly deflate as the metronome of British politics, which has swung towards Labour, starts to swing back towards the Conservatives over the next decade or so. But the last time Labour came to power, the Lib Dems actually increased their seats won at the following election because the Tories stalled. And there's every reason to believe that there's a good chance the Tories will stall again, because you look at the leadership contenders and you think, yeah, none of them seem to know what they're doing. Certainly none of them have communicated a credible plan for renewal. So if they've got one, they're keeping it up their sleeve until they've conned the members into voting for them. In fact, you could be forgiven for thinking that the Tories are putting all their hopes into Keir Starmer and Nigel Farage both dying in the same plane crash. Although Farage has already survived one of those, he may actually be immortal. The Liberal Democrats can absolutely target more seats at the next election. And if they could overtake the Tories in 4 or 5 years' time, then who knows? In combination with the way other parties outside of the big two have been performing, we could be looking at a major political shift in the UK. Why wouldn't the Lib Dems want to try and take advantage of that? But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe as well, please. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join for memberships. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.